this is my entry for this week's DreamSnap, Halloween Town Style. Now, I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do for this one, so I just started looking through all of the Nightmare Before Christmas items, and grabbing any that looked interesting. And you might have noticed I, again, forgot to fix my screen resolution, as the game decided to reset it on me, again. I do eventually notice the screen size, but it takes a while. Now, I like the idea of framing the shot with a Halloween Town arch. Move the well out of the way, and grab the Skeletomobile and the Frightful Fountain. Looking for any other items I might want to use, checking the angle under the archway again, and grabbing the metal spike fence to bring it out on either side of the archway. Now, there is currently a glitch with fences that could cause flashing or crash your game. I didn't know, and thankfully didn't have many issues. Struggling to get the fence at the same angle, getting a better angle, moving Zero's house to the front of the fence, and I don't mind it there. So moving the other one, and adding more to the other side, rotating them around to be less repeated looking. Grabbing the musical mausoleum, not sure where I want to put it, but I like the idea of using it. Adding more Frightful Fountains, as I kinda like them there, and the splash of green light they give. I wanted to add some pathing under the fountain in the center, so I grabbed the Ancient's Road, centering the fountain, and swapped the pathing to the stone slab path, bringing out the path to the archway. I wasn't sure about the border on the path, I didn't like that it wasn't centered, and it was feeling a little narrow, so widening it to see if that helps. Bringing it out on the other side as well, accidentally leaving furniture mode, extending the path a little more, getting a better angle. I'm not feeling it, so I get rid of it. Grabbed the Ancient's Road again, and tried, emphasis on tried, to make a swirl pattern, by alternating between straight and diagonal pathing. I kinda liked how it was going, so I grabbed the brick road to add a lighter color going between the other pathing. I wasn't really feeling it, but I tried to make it thicker, to see if that helped. Checking at a better angle, and you can't even really see the swirl, and I'm not feeling how it's looking. So I clean up the lighter path, and filled in the swirl. Brought the path back out to the archway, trying to get an idea of where I'm going to want my camera, scooting the clock, trying to decide if I want to move Jack's house or if I like it where it is, getting rid of the clock, and moving the Halloween Town house in its spot, trying to decide where I want to put the Skeletomobile, as I like it, but it's not feeling right anywhere. I moved the mausoleum out of the way, and added some dead Forgotten Lands trees, scattering them around, trying to vary between the taller and the shorter ones, checking how that's looking. Bringing the path forward a bit, adding more fountains to fill in some of the background, adding some frozen dead bushes, as their coloring matches the Forgotten Lands trees the best, scattering a bunch in the back and adding a few near the fence, adding some thorn vines, and they can go on pathing now. That will be so helpful. Scooting the fountain to mirror the vine on the other side, trying to get it in the right spot. Not quite. Twisting it a bit. Better. Got distracted testing a few things on the pathing. And now all the ferns can go on pathing. Whereas before, I think either the Forgotten Lands or the Sunlit ones couldn't, while the others could, though I ended up not using any of them in my shot. Grabbing some pumpkins and scattering in a few. I was looking for the carved ones, but they're apparently called jack-o'-lanterns, and don't have pumpkin or carved in their names. Scattering in a few, trying to vary which ones I'm using, so it's not too repetitive. Adding a few candy buckets, as I thought they would be a fun touch. And I wanted to use the haunted pipe organ in front of the screen to try and get some blue sparkles from it. And I figured it was time to check how it was looking in camera mode. Trying to figure out my placement, turning on the pipe organ, trying to figure out my pose. I kinda wanted to use one of the new ones, but I wasn't sure which one, so I went back and forth between them a bit. And I knew I wanted to have Jack, and hoped to have Sally in my shot, so I continued my fence to block them in, continuing it on the other side as well, and filling in with more trees and bushes to block any escape routes. And adding a bunch of lampposts with green light to add a green glow in the back. Finally noticed my screen resolution was on the wrong setting, and fixing it. Testing poses again, trying a different angle, and I kinda liked that one. I didn't like that the fountain on the left was getting cut off, adjusting placement. Too far up. Better, but I want to scoot the fountain back a little. Scooting the tree so I can scoot the fountain. adding another tree and a taller one to help fill in the background. And my game freaked out. It kept trying to load, but never did. So I had to force exit and reload. I'm not sure if it was related to the fence, since I hadn't touched it. But thankfully it only happened the one time. And I want Sally in my shot, so pulling her over with selfie mode, and pushing her in. She did not want to stay, so I blocked her in with Touch of Magic. I couldn't remember where I left my Touch of Magic trophies, so I just used a table. And she's on the wrong side, moving the table and trying to push her back in. But she really doesn't want to stay. Using selfie mode to call her back, running out and putting the table back in to block her. Pulling them closer, and I'd like to get Zero in my shot, so I used the critter pose to call him over, but he immediately walked away. I liked him by his house, so waiting for him to come over. Petting him and immediately going into furniture mode to freeze him. Though they fixed this glitch, so it doesn't work. I didn't realize it right away, so I was confused when he didn't stay. Adding a fir tree behind the pipe organ to push the camera forward a little, since it's going right behind the organ. Using the critter pose to call him over again, and trying again. Pushing him into place, double checking that he's staying, and as soon as I went into camera mode, he unfroze. And decided to just use the other version of this glitch. Stopped having him as one of my companions, and put him on his house instead. And he's in the corner, moving the pumpkin to get him out. And the house, petting him, and immediately going into furniture mode to freeze him, double checking that he's walk throughable, since that means it worked. Annoyingly, this version of the glitch is only usable on PC. Zero is staying, but I need to scoot a bit. Still having some clipping issues with the organ, and I wouldn't mind the camera becoming a little closer, so I scoot the organ up a little and swap out the fir tree to see if one of the castle walls works better. I like the closer shot, but I'm not getting any of the sparkles and I'm in the wrong spot. Scooting and trying again. I like that position better. The background is feeling like it needs something, especially on the right. It's also feeling a little dark, so I want to add some more light in the front. So I move the mausoleum over and add another, and mirror them on the other side. Then scoot the unused items over to make room for the tables. Grabbed one, but for some reason it looked bigger than I thought it was, so I went looking for a different one that I've used before, to make sure it was the right size. And it was, so I shifted them closer and twisted them slightly to try to get them in closer, going to grab some chandeliers to put on the tables. And got distracted when I saw that the floating candles can be placed outside. Then put a bunch down. Back to looking for the chandelier of the deep, as I feel like that one is one of the ones that give off more light. Checking if that helped. And that's feeling brighter. But I need to get Jack in a better spot, since you can't see him. So getting rid of the Touch of Magic table, since the area is blocked off now anyway, pushing Jack a little, and talking to him to get him to turn around. Too far back, scooting up. That's feeling better. But you can barely see any of the floating candles, so I need to move them. And added a few more. Also, moving the center fountain, and Jack's house closer, as they were feeling a bit too far back. A little better, but I want to shift Jack's house a little. And twist the fountain. Better, but I want to add more candles. And I really like the candles above the archway. Now, I wanted to try out this new trick discovered by Carrie. That when you hide then unhide your character, it gives you colorful sparkles. Now, when I was doing this snap, it worked perfectly. But when I tried to do it again later, it didn't work at all. I'm not sure why it works sometimes and not others. I was pretty happy with how it was looking, but didn't like the grass in front of the Zero Fox. So I grabbed some flower petals and put them down in front of him to lower the grass. Scattered some around to help blend them in, added more trees, and twisted the white table a little more. That's feeling better, but I need to twist the table a little more since it's cutting into the edge of the shot. And I want to try and get some of the candles above Zero's house on the right. Shifting some candles around, getting rid of one of the fountains in the back since you can't really see it in the shot anyway. Trying to see if I should adjust Skellington's hill, and pulled it forward a bit, checking how it's looking. Can't see the other house if I want to see the hill, but I kinda like the idea of having another hill on the other side as well. It doesn't want to fit, so I have to get rid of some stuff so it can. Adjusting some lights, adding back some more bushes so Sally doesn't escape. Better, but I want to adjust my character's angle a bit, so switching back to selfie mode to turn my character without losing my camera settings. But I didn't turn enough. So, just exiting since it's easier to judge how far I need to turn. Better, but I don't like the grass poking up in front of Zero. So, adding more flower petals. I think that helped? but I want to push Jack a little more forward. And I'd really like to get Sally in the shot as well. So, placing a candy bucket on top of Jack to make him scoot over. Checking his placement. Better, but I want him a little more, so adding another bucket. That's looking better. Using selfie mode to pull Sally over, she immediately walked away. Trying again, and quickly going into furniture mode, and trapping her in with candy buckets, and pumpkins, and another bush. And she's outside of the blockers. Adjusting it a bit, checking her placement. And she's right behind me, so she needs to scoot over, giving her a little more room. Still behind my character. Using a clone bottle to try and push her over, then getting rid of the blockers, and switching to all clone bottles, hoping they will be less seeable. And she escaped. Using selfie mode to call her back over, but she wants to talk to the Forgotten, going in and out of wardrobe, and trying again. It worked this time. Into furniture mode, and blocking the area off with clone bottles. And she ignored them and walked straight out, cleaning them up and switching to Minnie Mouse pictures instead. And that worked. Pulling her closer, making the blocked off area smaller, more pulling and shrinking the area, little more adjustments, checking how that's looking. Better, but I want the raccoon to face the other way, scooting forward a tad to get him to move, and petting him, hoping to get him in front of my character facing the screen. He doesn't want to. It took a while, but he finally cooperated with me. And I liked this shot, but I decided I wanted Jack and Sally next to my character instead of in the background. I was considering moving the archway back, but wasn't sure, so I added another to see if I liked it back there. Got rid of the pumpkin and candy buckets, and pushed Jack next to the archway. Added mini pictures to try and stop the raccoon from bothering him, which the raccoon promptly ignored. But at least he didn't bother Jack. Added more blockers to the back, and freed Sally. Tried to push her into place, but she decided she would rather be on Jack's side. Waited for her to come out, and thankfully she went to her spot. And I blocked her in with a picture, getting Jack back into place, checking how it's looking. And I'm liking them there better, but I want to see if I can get them facing the camera a bit more. So I talked to Jack to turn him around, and pushed him back into place. Pulled the raccoon over using the critter pose, and tried to get him back where I wanted. And no pushing Jack! Trying to get Jack back in the right spot, fighting the raccoon about it. Pulled the raccoon out with the critter pose, then blocked the raccoon away from Jack with more pictures. Added another one to block off the other side, adjusting the pictures. Trying to get the raccoon to turn around, but he won't move. I like Jack's angle better, but I really want the raccoon to turn around. Move the picture closer to Jack to give the raccoon a little more room. At least the raccoon is moving now. Moving to try to convince him to turn around. And I don't mind that placement for him. And while waiting for Sally to turn to face the camera, I decided to try a time transition, from sunrise to nighttime. To do this, I switched to sunrise, then moved an hour back, and snapped the picture immediately. And I kinda liked the more vivid coloring it gave. Now, to still get the sparkles and the time transition, I'm going to have to leave it on sunrise and keep my character hidden. Then, when Sally turns to face the camera, I will have to unhide my character and quickly switch tabs to change the time of day and take the shot immediately. Doable, but I'm going to have to be fast. And after waiting and waiting, I finally got the shot. And I'm pretty happy with how it came out. If you're curious, this snap took nearly 4 hours to do. Thank you for watching the video. Please like it if you found it at all helpful, and subscribe if you want to see more like this.